short story by Paul McCann, The Moon Keeper. Jimmy Brickfield had always been a loner after being put into a foster home as a very young child. Growing up was tough as he was criticised for the things he did, and he was also accused of the things that he never did. So one day he decided to run away and live on the moon. He sat down and wrote a note that said, "Dear all, I've been so dematerialized by destructive words that criticize that I've gone to live on the moon. I'm living on the moon all by myself, so don't try to find me, or don't worry about my health. And if I never come back, it'll be a day too soon. In case you're wondering, I'm away up high in my new home, and quite content, so leave me alone because there's no room for two now away up high here on the moon. Furthermore, I'm feeling much better now. No one's on my back. And if you don't respect what I've done, then I really don't care anyway, because I'm away up high, living here on the moon. So goodbye to you, everyone. I'm away up here where the earth is blue and the moon is too, and I've got a dish and a spoon, and I have a friend called a cow who jumped over the moon." He left the note and walked out the door with nothing but one thought: to catch a boat to the rising of the moon. Jimmy had always noticed that the moon came out of the sea at night and decided that if he got close enough before it did, he could jump onto it and catch a ride away up high. That evening, Jimmy walked down to the docks and he hid himself away on a lifeboat on the ship. Then he waited and waited until he heard the ship's engine start. And then he knew he was on his way. Late that night, Jimmy creeped out quietly from the lifeboat and lowered it down into the open sea. Then, as he jumped inside, he started to row towards the horizon. Sure enough, it didn't take long, and there the moon rose out of the sea, with Jimmy and the lifeboat for company. As Jimmy walked around, finally, on the surface of the moon, he found an old shed, and inside there were lots of strange things. He started to rummage through some of the boxes, and a voice said, "Hello, is there something in specific you're looking for?" "I beg your pardon, huh? Who said that?" Jimmy asked. "Do you know I have waited for so long to have a visit from someone?" came the reply. Jimmy spun around and saw a man standing there with the biggest smile you ever saw. Jimmy said, "Hey, mister, look at me." And with one leg in the air, Jimmy spun around like a spinning top. The stranger started to laugh. "I'm the keeper." Jimmy said, "Yeah, sure. Okay, whatever you say." The stranger made his way around the shed and he opened some boxes and cupboards and doors. And then he looked at Jimmy and said, "I am the keeper of lost things that come to the moon, like balloons and kites, bits of paper, lanterns and candles, a dish, a spoon, even a cow." You probably met the cow who jumped over the moon not many years ago. Well, he landed in my front yard. Jimmy was excited and he said, once I lost a balloon, I lost a kite that flew away with the string broke when I didn't know what to do. I thought it was gone forever. Can you remember what they looked like?" said the moonkeeper. Something special, mister. Jimmy took 3 steps closer, and with an extreme amount of concentration on his face, he thought for a minute about the very day that he went up with his kite, and then he said, "Well, I think the balloon was red, pear-shaped, kind of thing, with a smiling face on it. It said something on it like, don't ever let me go. That's what it was. And the kite had a picture of a frog sitting on a rainbow with the words, your dreams can come true. I remember that. Okay, of course, I have got those two things. They're in the room over there, said the keeper. The moonkeeper rushed off to the corner and opened up another door. And then he said, go have a look now and see if you can find them. Jimmy walked in through the door. On the other side, he discovered another world. There were children with kites and balloons, chased by the wind that blew. There was a rainbow and a path there, colouring and shimmering, that made its way to a distant castle on a hill. And the castle had a sunset behind it that shimmered in the purple light of an endless sky. Some of the children there ran past Jimmy and they said, hey, come on, you not get in, come on. Jimmy ran on with them along the rainbow shimmering road until they were all inside the castle. Once inside the castle, a crowd of small children surrounded Jimmy and said, the moonkeeper told us it's your turn now, you're going to get a wish. What do you want? I just want a mum and dad. I wish I had a mum and dad who loved me, that's all. Granted, came the reply. All the children started playing ball and Jimmy joined in. A big door opened up in the castle wall and all the children started laughing and screaming and pointing. What's in there? Jimmy asked. That's where everything's lost and found, they said. Jimmy immediately ran over, and then he went through the open door, and on the other side of the door he stood there in a room filled with balls of every shape and size and colour. There were balloons and bits of paper, and some trash and a dish and a spoon and a cow and balloons and kites and coins and keys and toys. There were letters and cards and hats and coats and umbrellas, all kinds of things. Everything you could ever imagine that had ever been lost in some time or another. Jimmy just stood there and sighed. Then, sitting there side by side, right on the floor at his feet, was his red balloon and a rainbow kite. There he picked them up off the floor, and from out of nowhere a ball rolled over to him. Jimmy lifted the ball, and as soon as he did that, he found himself back again inside the lifeboat on the open sea. Up above, the full moon shone down. A red balloon was tied to the little boat, and inside the boat was a kite and a ball with the words, come back any time, I'll be here waiting. In the morning, Jimmy was rescued by a ship on the open sea. When the ship returned to shore, Jimmy was met by lots of people, even a TV camera, and everyone was asking him how he ever survived the ship that had sunk the night before. Overnight, Jimmy had become a celebrity and welcomed into a very, very rich family who had heard about Jimmy, the boy lost at sea with no parents. So now Jimmy had a new mum and dad who loved him very much, and they sent him off to a good school where he made lots of nice people and made some good friends. And over the years, one thing that never changed was the red balloon and the kite, because it was Jimmy's request that they would be put into a box, never ever to be opened. And that's the way that it was. And no one ever asked Jimmy why. Jimmy kept the secret of the moonkeeper until he passed away. And the box was opened one day with the story of his journey to the moon for everyone to read. The end.